Black Adam. All right, everybody, it is your boy Art with Toys, and I'm back with another action figure review. Actually, this time we're going to do two in one here, and we're going to take a look at the DC Multiverse Black Adam, and then we're going to take a look at the DC Multiverse Black Adam with Cloak. I'll also compare the two so you guys can get an idea of the differences between the two. It's not just the Cloak, believe it or not. I think that's pretty cool. You know, as far as Mcfarlane figures go, I'm not a big collector of them. I don't collect them all. I usually will collect figures that look good, or if I watch a review on a figure I'm interested in and it came out great, I'll buy it. If it's a figure of something that hasn't been made by another company and I want that particular character, I'll get it. Or, you know, let's say another company made it, like Storm Collectibles or, you know, Mafex, and it's a character I really don't want to spend that much money on, then, you know, I'll go after one of the characters that Mcfarlane releases. And again, only if it comes out good. There's a lot of them, you know, that I've been disappointed with, so I've been very, very picky in the recent past. But you know, I'm excited about this one because I am a big Rock fan. I definitely think The Rock is going to put everything he has into this Black Adam character. He always does, you know, whether the movie's good or bad. He always puts everything he has into the role. So I think he'll do it here. I think the only thing that could let us down in regards to the movie is how DC writes and produces this particular film, and as you guys know, they have a pretty spotty record in regards to releasing good films for us fans. So but again, excited about this one. Just to talk a little bit about the box. So on the left side here with the standard Black Adam, you have Black Adam in the window there with the collector card in the back, which is a realistic image of Black Adam. It's not one of the cards that's done with the figure, where they take a picture of the figure and put it on the card. It's actually him as Black Adam. He has the electricity effects here, and then the stand back there. And then on this side, you have Black Adam with the cloak, obviously. It doesn't look like they included the lightning effects with this guy because you get the cloak. Obviously, you're going to be able to use these on him if you wanted to. You have another collector card in the back. What's great is it's not the same as this one, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And then you have your stand in there. On the front, you have DC Multiverse Black Adam, and then Black Adam again at the bottom. And then on the right, you have DC Multiverse Black Adam, and then it says Black Adam with Cloak. Looking at the sides, you have Black Adam on both, but on this one, you have Black Adam, which obviously I think is to tell us who the character is, and then from the movie Black Adam, and then Black Adam with Cloak from the movie Black Adam. Mcfarlane Toys at the bottom. And then on the back, this is kind of what I was talking about with the trading cards. So on the left side, you have the realistic image of The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson, as Black Adam in the suit. A little bit of electricity in the back and the lightning bolt. But then on the right, I think that's a really cool image. That's like a kind of a comic book style drawing of him. He's got the yellow light piping in the back. Same lightning bolt in the back, but he has the lightning running through the front and hitting the lightning bolt on the front, and it's lit up. And I think this looks really good. The shading and everything on this picture looks good. Again, the cards on the inside have these same two images on them, and you have the option, obviously, just keeping the card, or if you want to cut these out and keep them, you have that option as well, and I think that's pretty cool. In the bottom right, you have Black Adam on both of them, and then in the bottom left, you have hashtag Mcfarlane Toys. And the little insignias showing that they have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and then Mcfarlane Toys and their address at the in the lower bottom left there, and that's the same on both boxes. Then on this side, not a ton. You get the little window here, DC Multiverse, Black Adam with Cloak. Again, Mcfarlane Toys at the bottom. At the top, they're pretty much identical. You have Black Adam, 22 moving parts, and then the Mcfarlane Toys logo. And then at the bottom, you have your legalese. So there is your UPC for your standard Black Adam, if you'd like it. And there is your UPC for your Black Adam with Cloak, if you would like it. All right, so enough about the box. Let's open these guys up and see what we got. All right, and then real quick, let's take a look at the accessories. And when I say real quick, it's not because I'm gonna rush through the accessories, it's because this guy doesn't, or neither of these guys come with a lot of accessories. So with your standard rock, you're gonna get 2 of these lightning bolt effects that are pretty cool. They're done with a translucent plastic. And if you hit them just right with the lighting, if you're doing action figure photography, you can make those pop and look like real lightning. And here's the other one. And what I do think is cool is that they could have took the easy way out and just gave you 2 of the same effects, but they did not. These are actually molded differently. So I do like that. And then you're gonna get, with your standard Black Adam figure, you're gonna get the trading card that has a more realistic looking picture of him on it. And I think that's awesome that they're actually doing a real picture versus just a picture of the action figure, which I think was a lazy, cheap way to get out of it, including something cool. I don't know if anybody really would want a trading card with just their action figure on it. They want a trading card with like a comic book art or something from the movie or something. So this is done really nicely. And again, this is the one that comes with the Cloak Black Adam, and it's more of the comic book looking picture. You have the lightning bolts running through the front, and then the lightning bolt on his chest. And if you hit that just right with the light, you can make that lightning bolt light up, which looks cool. And then you're gonna get 2 of the same stands. Standard DC Multiverse stands, or Mcfarlane stands in general. Done in all black, DC tempo there, and the peg. All right, let's get in and take a closer look at these 2 action figures and also take a look at the differences. All right, taking a look at our standard Black Adam figure. So he obviously has the lightning bolt on the front, and then a lot of sculpt work. So if you take a look at the costume there around the chest, there's some texturing that is in there. You have some wrinkles, and then you have some line work done on that. And then if you take a look at the arms, so you have again the texturing here on the shoulders, line work here, kind of looks like wraps, which I think is cool. And then on the back, and then those come down into the wraps on his arms, which are done in what looks like a gold paint with a black dry brush. That's the same for his belt, so gold paint, black dry brush. So I do like that. On this arm, he's got the band, which is cool. And then again, the same texturing that was on this arm. And then you have your wraps on this arm again with the gold and the black dry brush. And then on both hands, you have the black guard with the silver dry brush. And then on the legs, you have more of the line work here. Kind of looks like, almost like wraps, like mummy wraps or something, the way it's done. And this is all sculpted in, so that's cool. You have the knee pads, and then you have the boots that are done in a metallic gold with a black dry brush. So the shin guard and then the boot itself is done that way. And those wrap around to the back, which is cool. One thing I wanted to point out with both these figures, which I actually really like, is that you do not have the big bulbous wrist joints and ankle joints. So if you guys remember, the standard Mcfarlane thing is to have a pegged joint that goes into the upper arm and then down into the fist, and in the middle is the ball. And that's the actual joint, and they usually stick out like a sore thumb, and they make it look really bad. In this particular case, the joint's built into the hand, and then it's pegged into the forearm. So I like that, and it streamlines the figure more and makes it look way better. And then same thing for your ankles. You actually have an ankle joint, and then that's pegged into the boot, like a standard one would be. You don't have the cut here and a cut here with that big bulbous joint in the middle that usually stands out and looks ugly. So kudos to Mcfarlane for changing that on these 2 figures. And then as I take a look at the second figure, let's just take a look at some of the differences in both. So with this guy, you have more of a darker overall costume. You have a darker lightning bolt. Over here, you have more, I don't know if this is black with gold dry brush, or if it's black with, or if it's gold with a really heavy black dry brush. But either way, these wraps are way darker. You can still see the gold peeking through, but they're way darker. Same thing on the belt and the boots. So you can see those are far darker than the ones on this one. And then even on the hands, there's still the black guards, but a little less of the silver dry brush there. And then all of the details, the sculpted details, are exactly the same on the suit itself, on both figures. And then what I like here is you have the cloak, and that is done nicely. It's sculpted very nice, and it's layering over itself. And then you have the gold trim that's going around the outside of the cloak. So I think that looks really good. But those are the differences. Again, they got rid of those ugly bulbous wrist and ankle joints. I do like that they went in and painted them differently, so you're not getting the exact same figure, just one with a cloak and one with not. You are getting more differences with the paints and things of that nature. Even the lightning bolt, like I said, this is far brighter than this one. This one's darker. So I think that looks cool. All right, with that, let's look at some articulation. All right, taking a look at articulation, I'm going to show most of the articulation with the standard Black Adam figure, mainly because the cloak does hinder this one a little bit. So the head moving back, he won't look back as far, but he will still look forward a good ways. And then the shoulder is not going to be able to do that 360 rotation all the way around because it's going to run into the cloak. So I'll show you that real quick. One thing I will say, if you push back on his head too much, it will pop off that dumbbell joint, so just be aware of that. Again, down doesn't look bad. And then no rotation all the way around, but his arm's going to go up forward pretty far, and then it's going to come out to the side pretty far. So any natural poses you want to put him in, you're going to be able to still do. For your standard Black Adam figure, he's going to look up that far. He's going to look down that far. He's got the pivot there at the head. He's got that Mcfarlane style butterfly joint. So it goes back, goes forward, it'll shift up, it'll shift down. Upper bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow. He's got, again, the wrist that the hands peg into the forearm. So you have rotation there. It'll go in, it'll go out. The only thing that's ugly is when it goes out, the hinge, which is actually built into the hand, will protrude out. So that doesn't look great, but that's not really a natural pose. He's going to be like that most of the time with his fist straight down. And if you have him like that, it's not protruding out. So that's not bad. Upper body, you have the upper diaphragm. That's going to go forward that much. It will rotate left to right, and you can get the side to side motion. Down at the bottom, you have, again, another dumbbell joint. It's going to go forward slightly. If you work both of them together, you get that much crunch. It will go left and right, and it will give you some side to side movement too. So he can lean to the sides pretty far. And then if you use both these joints together, he'll go back a good ways. And what I like is the bottom of the lightning bolt is a pliable plastic. So when you're crunching him, it just kind of moves with the figure. It doesn't hinder the articulation. And then you have the joint that comes out into the leg. No upper thigh cut, but it will spin on that joint in there a little bit. So that's not bad. Yeah, double jointed knees that go all the way up. No boot cut, but you do get some rotation at the ankle. Again, you don't have that bulbous ball joint in there. It will go up that far, down that far. It will give you pivot, and you have your toe hinge. So all in all, not that bad. I don't think there's really anything from an articulation standpoint that is bad on this figure. I think he pretty much is going to have the articulation you need for him to do Black Adam style stuff, you know, when posing him. So that's pretty good. Let's move into comparisons. So before I go into comparisons, I want to just show something really quick. For some reason on the standard Black Adam figure, the lower abdomen, it feels skinnier than on this one. I don't think it actually is. I think the kind of the diaper thing that they hide the articulation for the waist in is probably either bigger or I don't know if it's more stretched out, but it doesn't sit super flush with that lower ab area. And you really have to line him up just to make sure he looks natural. Otherwise, it just looks like he's sticking his hips out. On this one, you don't have that same problem. For some reason, it's more flush. And I haven't had to work the upper ab and the lower ab as much to get the figure lined up. So there is that. And the other thing I wanted to point out, which I think is pretty cool. So if you pop the head off of the Cloak Black Adam, the head actually moves independent inside the hood. So, you know, that would be what, you know, typically would happen if you're wearing a hood. When you look off to the side, the hood may still drape down over your eye. So I think that's cool. It's not all one piece that you rotate all together. If you wanted to rotate it all together, you could. But I do think it's pretty cool that he moves inside that hood. And it's easy. It's pretty easy just to pop that head back on. And I'll do some head swaps later on, just to show you what the unhood head looks like on the cloaked body. And it wouldn't make sense, but I'll put the hood head on the non-cloaked body. And we'll see what that looks like. All right, just some quick comparisons. So on the left, you have your Mcfarlane Toys Dark Knight Rises Batman with the ab modification, and they pretty much scale pretty decent, about the same size. And then on the right, you have your Marvel Legends new Buck. This would be the new standard muscular body, and obviously this is Vulcan, and this will forever be known going forward as the Vulcan Buck. So, and actually the size of this guy, I mean, obviously the Mcfarlane Toys is going to be much taller, but he's not as short compared to Black Adam as he would be if he was on like the Bucky Cap body. Here he is next to G.I. Joe Classified Storm Shadow and Marvel Legends War Machine. Here he is next to Hasbro Black Series Finnick, and I actually drew in the details here. The sculpt was there, and I actually took the Gundam pen and drew those in, so that's screen accurate. Going to repaint the helmet as well. Probably show that in a video later. And the NECA Toys Raphael in Disguise figure. Here he is next to Diamond Select Winston Zeddemore from the Real Ghostbusters cartoon, and a robot dog that I got at the dollar store. And last but not least, here he is next to Marvel Legends First Appearance Spider-Man and Mezco Steel Box Deluxe Wolverine. Alright, so I wasn't able to do the head swap between these two figures because the neck on this figure is built onto the body, whereas the neck on this figure is actually attached to the head. It's all one mold. So if you were to try to put that on there, you'd have two necks and his head sticking up really high. And then if you were to take this head and put it on there, he'd have no neck, which would look weird. Now, here's the standard head. And the ball peg is, when you pop it off, it might come out with the head. You can heat and pop that out and then pop it back into the neck there. The actual joint that's up in the head is slightly smaller than the one I'm about to show you. So the one I'm about to show you is the Mattel Ultimate newer rock that came out a little while ago. So this is one of the heads that comes with that figure. So that doesn't look too bad if you kind of want a serious look with a little bit of teeth showing. You have that. And then if you want to have a serious look, no teeth showing, and a people's eyebrow, you have that. And last but not least, if you want to have a smiling Black Adam, maybe he's happy he just got done killing somebody, you have that as well. So those actually fit on there pretty good. Again, if you have the peg in there, these will sit right on top. They might not snap on because that hole is a little bigger, but it'll at least help it rest on the shoulders a little better, or on the neck a little better. But that gives you some options. If you have that Mattel figure, you have the options now to give your Black Adam different looks. So I think that's pretty cool. And with that, let's do some final thoughts. All right, final thoughts on these two figures. I like them both for different reasons. I think I probably like the one with the cloak slightly better because of the darker, more muted colors. I also like that the hood comes down over the eyes. You can have him looking down. It's very menacing. The cloak itself is sculpted nicely and painted nicely, so that's cool. And again, he doesn't get out of whack from the upper ab to the lower ab. You know, he pretty much will stand straight up. This guy tends to get a little wobbly in that area, and you got to kind of fiddle with him just to get him lined up. And then also this the diaper piece and the side panels, they don't sit up flush against that lower ab like it does on this one. But if you want a Black Adam without a cloak, this figure is actually really good. And I do know that at some point SHF and Mafex will come out with their versions of this guy down the road. If you want a $20 figure to hold you over, this is a good option. And I think both of them, from an articulation standpoint, do what they need to do. The sculpting's great. The paint applications and the dry brushing all look good. I think the heads look like The Rock. I do think the more stoic head on this one without the cloak, he does, you know, I mean, again, it's stoic, but he also looks kind of bored. This is the same look on this one, but the hood kind of hides that, so I do like that. And again, if you have that Mattel Ultimate Rock figure with the bald head or the newer version of The Rock, you can swap those onto this guy and give your Rock different facial expressions. So all in all, they're both cool figures, and I'm happy to have them. And I do like, again, the upgrades that they made with the wrist and the ankles as far as the way the joints are done, so you don't have those giant ball-like joints sticking out. So with that, please subscribe, like the video, comment if you can. I try to respond to all the comments. Hit that bell notification so you know when I have a new video coming out. And I guess until next time, peace.